All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Diabetes Talk. I'm your host, Charlie O'Connell. We are broadcasting live from New Haven, Connecticut, here in the GLUCOSEZONE studio. I want to say what's up to our YouTube membership, GLUCOSEZONE around the world on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live right here on Instagram. Guys, I'm so happy and excited to be here with you. It's been a couple weeks since I've been here in the GLUCOSEZONE studio. I've been traveling around the world, talking about diabetes, meeting with incredible people that are basically changing healthcare as we speak, and I'm really looking forward to sharing those experiences with you. I want to do a huge shout out to Jeanette, Salah, Tara, okay, Juan, I see you on Facebook, okay, guys, and everybody else that's joining me around the world. It is great to have you here, and I really can't wait to have this conversation with you guys tonight. So, tonight's topic, guys, is how to handle and reduce stress related to your diabetes during the holidays. And this is a very, very important topic. It's something that we all go through, us people living with diabetes. It's a very, very challenging time where we're dealing with this combination of bad weather, bad food, sometimes really hard relationships, emotions that come up, and basically scenarios that there's definitely potential to have a struggle managing our diabetes. So we're going to talk about some very practical tips for having success, and of course, guys, I want to be answering all of your questions. So to start things off, guys, okay, I want to start with a couple basic suggestions for how to reduce the stress about your diabetes during the holidays. And the number one thing that I can recommend to you is make sure that you are consistently taking your medication every single day. Nothing throws off your diabetes more than inconsistently taking your medication or being non-compliant with the medication that's been prescribed to you. All right? So that would be the very, very first thing. And if you guys have been following me on social media, you guys saw that earlier this week I had a real challenge with one of my medications basically not working the way that it was supposed to. And the bottom line end result was I fell out of compliance with how my medication has been prescribed, and it really, really negatively affected me. So, number one easy kind of tip for dealing with stress and reducing stress during the holidays is take your medication as prescribed. Now, let's talk about when your prescription for managing diabetes has been diet and exercise, because the reality is, for most people living with diabetes, diet and exercise is the way that you have been told by your doctor that you need to deal with your condition, okay? So, how do we do that during the holidays? And especially when it's bad weather. All right. The first thing is, okay, and today was a classic example. So, I woke up this morning, it was snowing, big giant snowflakes here in New Haven, Connecticut. Totally unreasonable weather. It would have been downright foolish for me to try and go get some exercise outside, okay? That is where, guys, using something like GLUCOSEZONE can make an enormous difference. Now, of course, I'm going to suggest you should join us in the GLUCOSEZONE app, but in reality, guys, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of amazing different exercise programs that you can follow in the comfort of your home, whether it's old school DVD or logging on to YouTube or logging into GLUCOSEZONE and joining me in these live and interactive sessions, okay? Get the exercise in, and don't hesitate to utilize the technology that's available to us to follow great instruction and exercise guidance, whether it's on the web, whether it's in the GLUCOSEZONE app, or wherever, okay? The second part of that is get your exercise in the morning. And here's the reason why I suggest that. Number one, if you get your exercise in the morning done, that is literally going to stimulate exercise endorphins. And anybody who has had even the slightest experience with exercise knows that when you exercise, you feel better. Okay? So why not do something that makes you feel better first thing in the morning? And I just want you to think about this for a second. I want you to kind of balance in your mind the value of sleeping for 45 more minutes or the value that you get from exercise. Okay? I want you to think about that. And I know that the answer you're going to come up with is, you know what, I really should get up and exercise. So let's talk about sleep. Okay? If you are going to get up in the morning and work out, you need to make sure that you are getting sleep. And basically, and this is a challenge for me. I know this is a challenge for so many people. When you're at home at night, it's so easy to basically turn the TV on and kind of zone out with the television or zone out playing on social media. And the next thing you know, it's midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So the second kind of suggestion that I want to recommend is, especially in the holidays, okay, especially as it relates to reducing stress about your diabetes, get your exercise in early in the morning and try to go to bed a little bit earlier, and be conscious of how the computer and the television basically can impact that. All right, now, can we scroll down for a second on the YouTube chat, because I saw a question that came in about dealing with stress and not raising blood sugar. Okay, all right, so this is a great question. So let's talk about how stress, there's a great question that came in on YouTube. Okay, and basically what the question is how do you deal with stress when it raises your blood sugar? Okay, and basically you either you haven't been prescribed medications that lower blood sugar levels, or for whatever reason you don't have access to them or you don't want to use them. All right, so the way that you deal with elevated blood sugar levels that are caused by stress is you really have to be honest with yourself. What is causing that stress? And then take proactive steps to avoiding those things. Okay? Now, if you can't avoid those things, the most important thing to do is mentally and emotionally prepare yourself to deal with the stress. Okay? And that stress can come from lots of different places. They can come from family members, it can come from kids, it could come from end of the year expectations related to your business. Okay? So if there's a source of stress that you know is really going to have an impact on you, you want to either take steps to avoid it or mentally and emotionally prepare yourself. All right? Now, we've got a ton of people joining us right now. I see you guys on Instagram. Okay? I want to say what's up to Daisy Williams, Steve Squinto, I see you, Frank, all you guys on Instagram, thank you for joining us. Okay? And here on Facebook, okay, Juan. Now, let me just talk about Juan for a second, okay? Because, guys, Juan has been with us consistently in the Glucose Zone, and Juan basically has been sharing with us that, you know, he's getting his exercise, but he's still basically struggling with getting that A1C down below 6.5. And Juan, first off, I want to thank you for sharing that, okay? Because when you share that type of information, it really, really helps other people. It helps us here at the Glucose Zone really think about what programming and information is important to you. The second thing is, when you have type 1 diabetes, it's very, very important that you don't put too much pressure and stress on yourself as relates specifically to your A1C. And the bottom line is, if your A1C is at 7 or below, okay, you have dramatically reduced the risk of complications. And that should be something that you should feel encouraged about. All right? All right, now, the other thing, okay, let's move on to the, we got a funny Instagram user. You know what is up with the Instagram username phenomenon? Everybody decided when they logged on to Instagram that they were going to have a funny username. All right, it's really awesome. So, boom 354, that's what's up. I see you, and thank you for joining us. All right, now, guys, another one. Okay, another way to handle the stress of the holidays is by planning ahead your food choices and how you are going to handle food stress situations. So let me give you an example. 3 days ago, we were having a meeting here at GLUCOSEZONE, and the people that we were hosting had requested pizza for lunch because we're here in New Haven, and everybody knows that New Haven has the best pizza in the world. Okay, so that actually really stressed me out because I really can't enjoy pizza these days. For whatever reason, my diabetes explodes when I have a piece of pizza. That probably has to do with the fact that I personally can't just have one piece of pizza. All right? And that is like an honesty thing with myself. I know that if I literally have one bite of pizza, the next thing you know, I've had 6 slices of pizza. Okay? So in that particular case, I had to emotionally prepare myself. I had to be honest with myself, say, you know what? I can't even have any of that pizza. I'm just going to have the salad, okay? Now, I had a big, giant plate of salad, which was really satisfying. And if you're like me and you like to eat, okay, finding foods that you can eat in large quantity can actually really reduce stress, okay? Because eating is a natural response to stress. And sometimes the best way to handle that whole situation is to find foods that you can eat a lot of. So in my case, I made sure that as long as ordering the pizza, we also ordered this really delicious salad, basically like a baby spinach chicken salad. It was totally delicious, and I felt so much better about myself for the rest of the day. Okay, that really empowered me to make better decisions about my diabetes in general. Okay, all right. Another great suggestion, fantastic suggestion, right, is talk to your friends and family ahead of time about these challenges. And we talked about this maybe a month or two ago on Diabetes Talk about how there's this really hard. There's a hard situation that comes up for so many people, which is basically feeling the need to validate their ethnicity or their cultural identity through food consumption. And that can be a really problematic thing when you have diabetes. And so for example, I'm American, okay? I'm like the whitest white guy American possible, okay? So the cultural food for me that would be most kind of stereotypically identified would be barbecue, okay? Hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries, potato chips, stuff like that. You know what? I don't have to eat hot dogs to prove that I'm American. Okay, it's really as simple as that. All right, and there are many other amazing options, food options that I could have that are just as good. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I go to a barbecue, instead of having hamburgers and hot dogs, I can definitely have barbecue chicken and potato salad, just as an example. All right, I want you to think about how that impacts you, whether you're Italian and you feel the pressure to eat certain foods, whether you are Indian or Puerto Rican or black or really any of the ethnicities have certain challenges with cultural identity through food. And I want you to basically start an honest conversation with your friends and family about not feeling the pressure, to essentially validate your identity through the consumption of food. It really, really is a big, big challenge, and it's something that really affects a lot of people. All right? All right. So generally speaking, guys, reducing stress related to your diabetes is something that is important. Stress and your diabetes in the holidays, those things come together all the time. They affect a lot of people, okay? The best thing that you can do to reduce the stress about your diabetes is, number one, take your medication on time and be compliant with your medication routine. Number two, make sure you're getting the physical activity in. If you can join us live in the Glucose Zone, join us live in the Glucose Zone. If you can't, make sure you're doing something to stay active, okay? And then number three, when it comes to the food that surrounds holiday parties and things like that, okay, prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to basically say, you know what, I'm good, all right? To pass on the cookies, to pass on the foods and the drinks that you know are just not good for you, okay? And yes, you're right. So DeLeslin on YouTube, you nailed it. It is really hard not to overeat, okay? It's really, really tough not to overeat on the comfort foods over the holidays. So the trick to that whole scenario is, number one, the more you exercise, guys, the less of an impact the overeating is going to have. And George Foreman has an amazing quote. I love this quote. And what George Foreman says, I work out every day because I love to eat. And you know what, guys? That really actually sums up in so many ways why it's so important to exercise. Because when we exercise, we are creating the space in our body for the consumption of food, okay? And we're stimulating all of the different hormones that are involved with the healthy storage of glucose, okay? And healthy fat metabolism. All right, now, the last thing that I want to talk about, and of course I want to answer your guys' questions, but guys, the last thing that I want to talk about is last Thursday, I was in Boston for a very special event. The American Diabetes Association put on an innovation summit in Boston at a place called Continuum, and there were some amazing, amazing things that were shared, okay, at this innovation summit. And the keynote speaker was a guy named Dean Kamen. Let me tell you a little bit about Dean Kamen. I want you to Google Dean Kamen right now, because I've met a lot of people over the last 7 years, okay, that have had a positive impact on people living with diabetes. There are few people who I've ever met that have had more of a positive impact on the world than Dean Kamen. And what Dean shared with me and with the audience was a vision of the future, okay? And a vision of the future that involved the harnessing of science and technology to actually create and manufacture human tissue and human organs that could ultimately serve as a true cure for type 1 diabetes. And it was amazing to hear this man speak, okay, and to basically show in a very easy to digest format how that could actually be possible. So Dean Kamen is one of the best inventors in the entire world. Dean Kamen is the inventor of the insulin pump. He is the inventor of the Segway. He is the inventor of home dialysis machinery. He's the inventor of the Coca-Cola all-in-one machine. He's the inventor of the first bionic arm. Okay, so this guy was a truly amazing, inventive person. He's the founder of the organization called FIRST, which is an organization that has now literally helped hundreds of thousands of kids become engaged with and find a love and a passion for science. Okay, and so what Dean shared at this conference was he's founded something called ARMY, which is the Advanced Research Manufacturing Institute. And what the goal of the Advanced Manufacturing Research Institute is to perfect the large-scale manufacturing and technique of human tissue and organs using 3D printing and biologic materials. And it was incredible, okay, incredible to see that vision of the future just on the horizon, okay? All right, now, we just got a great question coming in from Instagram, okay? And the question is, good evening, Charlie. This is coming in from Luis, okay? Luis, I see you on Instagram, and thank you for asking this question. So the question is, I'm having surgery on my right eye, and I won't be able to exercise for 2 weeks. What can I do to control my A1C to keep it at 5.9? Louis, all right. So Louis, first off, I hope that your surgery goes well on your right eye. Anytime you're having surgery, especially with something like your eye, something we want to be very careful with, and you're going to be in our thoughts and prayers. Here is the recommendation, okay? The recommendation that I would make, very specifically, is to focus in on your food consumption, and very specifically, I would recommend, if you haven't done it already, start green juicing, okay? And specifically, green juicing in the morning. What green juicing in the morning does is green juicing sets the metabolic processes in your body for healthy fat metabolism, and it gives you, okay, it gives you all of the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that your body needs, so that you're not going to feel hungry. And that is actually, we don't really explain this well enough. I could do a better job of explaining this, but the consumption of green juice, the reason why the consumption of green juice is so fundamental to weight loss is because you provide your body with all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that it needs. And the reason the actual feelings of hunger, okay, have to do with the lack of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that our body is absorbing. And let me explain what I mean by that. Have you ever noticed that when you eat a bowl of broccoli, for example, you get about halfway through that bowl of broccoli and you literally feel full, okay? Your stomach will feel full and you say, you know what? I can't even eat any more of this. Whereas you go to Burger King, for example, you could get a Whopper, a chicken sandwich, French fries, and a Coke, and you still feel hungry, okay? Why is that? The reason why that is because something like broccoli, which is a cruciferous vegetable, broccoli is loaded with vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that your body needs. Whereas a Whopper, a chicken sandwich, and French fries has basically no nutritional value. It is just fat, sugar, and protein, all right? So the way that you basically stimulate healthy fat metabolism is by supplying your body with the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients you need, and you'll be surprised that you won't feel as hungry as you're expecting. All right? Now, Louis. Okay, so Louis just shared with us that he drinks kale, spinach, or has kale, spinach, and carrots every morning. So, Louis, just keep that up. Just keep that routine up, okay? Don't trip out too much about 2 weeks with no exercise. Anytime, guys, you have a surgery or anything like that, don't sabotage the healing process. Don't basically worry that you're going to lose, you're going to somehow lose your muscle mass or get out of shape or anything like that. When your body needs to heal, okay, your body needs to heal, and you need to let that process happen, okay? But that is a great question, and I appreciate it. All right. Now, let's talk about what Tara just brought up here on YouTube. And basically what Tara shared was she's having a kale smoothie in the morning with 1 scoop of protein, okay? And let's just talk about the consumption of protein. So generally speaking, guys, protein is, you absolutely need to be consuming protein. And there are different kind of schools of thought. My personal feeling is, and my personal food habits are, I eat a very light breakfast, okay, that is basically green juice and maybe a handful of almonds and granola or something like that. But basically I have a very light breakfast. And I find that when I have a light breakfast of green juice and drink coffee, my energy is very high in the morning, and my blood sugar levels are very stable. Now, as the day goes on, I consume more protein. And by the time I get home for dinner, I'm definitely consuming a large amount of protein. And the amount of protein that you eat is going to vary depending on whether you're a man or a woman, what your weight loss goals are, or whether you're trying to maintain your weight. But generally speaking, the consumption of protein with a green juice it's totally fine. I personally don't do it, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. And especially if you're trying to maintain weight, okay, or if you're trying to lose and burn fat on your body, the inclusion of protein powder in your green smoothie is definitely not a bad idea. Okay? All right, guys. That was a quick 30 minutes. I'm so happy to be back here in the GlucoZone doing Diabetes Talk live from here from New Haven, Connecticut. I want to encourage you guys, Google Dean Kamen, okay? Check him out. And basically, guys, if you enjoy our live programming, if you enjoy working out with me, download the GlucoZone app. I am going to be back at it tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. I can't wait to see you there, okay? And with that, guys, we're going to sign out. I will see you again live this Tuesday on YouTube, okay, at 6:30, and of course, every day in the GlucoZone at 10 a.m. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night.